Okay, welcome to part 10 of my Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In our last Let's Play, Link entered the Swamp Palace and retrieved the second crystal containing a maiden imprisoned by the wizard Ganem and sent to the Dark World in order to break the Wise Men's seal. We also retrieved the hookshot, which allows us a significantly better way of getting around. So, for example, it lets us hook on to things at a distance and pull ourselves to them, as well as pull things to us. So we are able to use the hookshot now at this little broken ledge here to pull ourselves across the river. So rather than having to go back to the light world and find another portal, we can easily and quickly make our way across there. So we'll go ahead and clear past the high knocks here. If we're quick enough, we shouldn't get hit again. Take out the Snapdragon and the Moblin. Now, we passed a cave in an earlier episode that said only the one with the magic cape can proceed. So let's go check out that cave. Watching out for the Dactos. Dactos are kind of like crows, except they continue attacking you until you defeat them or move far enough away. So here it is. I'll give a piece of heart to the person who wears the cape. And you might have thought we could have done that before, but it turns out that you need the hookshot, and the reason why is technically you're not supposed to get the cape before you have the hookshot. They usually like you to have the gauntlet to be able to lift those black rocks. And that's the easy way to get to the grave where the magic cape is kept, but we warped into one specific spot that you were able to come from the Dark World to the Light World, and we were able to get inside that little area where the tombstone is. So now that we have the hookshot, we can actually make it across this gap. Otherwise, we would have been stumped right there and not able to cross the hole. So here's where we need the cape. If you were to walk into this bumper, you would be knocked back, possibly even down the hole and down a level. But using the magic cape, you can turn invisible and actually move through the bumper, coming out safely on the other side. And that's all there is to it. Here's Piece of Heart. I believe it's 19. I'm not 100% sure on that. So next, we are ready to enter Skull Woods. Now, the thing about Skull Woods is it's a lot harder to get around Skull Woods than the Lost Woods in the Light World. It's a bit of a maze, and you have to enter the dungeon from multiple entrances to make your way through this maze. And try as I might, I never really learned a good pattern for making it through this dungeon. You can see the main entrance is this one with the little open skull right here. So we're going to go ahead and hop in this main entrance just so you can have a look before we head through further. So we've got a red berry there, a couple of mini Moldorms, and the big chest is featured pretty prominently right there. I'll try not to fall down a hole again. So here we've got the dungeon map, and that's pretty much it. We've got locked door to the south, hole to the north in that room, and a locked door to the left. So you obviously can't do much at all if you just go in the main entrance. So you have to look for these alternate entrances to the dungeon. If you fall down this hole right here, which it's easy to fall down the hole if you're just walking through the woods, here is one entrance, and it brings us into that room just south of where we found the map. Now, these enemies are a classic Legend of Zelda enemy, the Gibdo, mummies that can take a number of hits, but they're weak to fire. And that hand falling from the sky is also a very similar to a classic enemy in the earlier Legend of Zelda, there were wall masters. I believe that's actually the same thing. I have to be very careful because I am screwing up pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and use a fairy. Let that loose and pick up the fairy there, just so I don't lose all my health. So I've still got one for insurance. So you can keep taking out the wall masters, but I think they're called wall masters in this one. But they'll keep coming back, so just kind of watch yourself there. So now we've got this key. You can cut the vines on the walls to expose hidden doors at times, but nothing helpful right now. And you see that that star switch is there, blocking the pathway to the north side of that room. We just can't get past it at this point in time. So we're going to have to try another entrance into the dungeon. Let's go ahead and try this one right here. This should take us just west of that room where the mummies were. So watch out for the hard hat beetles that will knock you off the ledge. Try to knock them off first if you can. And I believe you can defeat the red hard hat beetle, but it takes a lot more sword swings to do it. There it is. Now if we go through the door to the right, it is just going to lock behind us and we'll be in the mummy room. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this treasure chest, and something interesting happens when you do it. So if you haven't defeated all the hard hat beetles by now, you can grab the treasure chest and it may help you out. When you do, a bunch of holes appear in the floor. So any hard hat beetles standing where one of those holes appears will disappear, fall down into the abyss. Okay, so the next room has a number of Gyptos and a red Stalfos. I'm going to grab that one and take out the Stalfos and work on the Gyptos one at a time here. Watch out for Wall Master. So we've got a key now. And honestly, the key isn't going to help us a whole lot. If the Wall Master grabs you, it will transport you back to the beginning of the dungeon wherever you entered. So it's a bit of a pain, and it can really hinder your progress through the dungeon. So we exit right here, and it takes us right back to the room with the big key. So basically, it's kind of a waste. We haven't actually done anything. Both of those rooms are pretty unimportant if you want to make it through the dungeon. So instead, let's go ahead and enter through that other skull mouth over here. We'll see if there's anything else to be found. Okay, we've got a couple more Gyptos here. And we have a hidden switch. And as it turns out, this is another pressure switch. And more specifically, it's one that you have to keep pressure on in order to keep that door to the north exit of this room open. So before we head through that door, I'm going to check out this room over here to the west. Okay, can't make it very far through here due to the hole in the floor. And same thing here, we've got holes blocking our progress. But we have a key. I think we want to head through that pressure switch door. I don't think this can really take us anywhere right now. I think we're going to have to come back here once we have retrieved the treasure in the big chest. The boss's lair is through that passageway that you saw to the northwest here. Kind of where the Master Sword would be in the light room. Okay, so we went ahead and cleared off all these. I'm checking all the walls, but there's nothing at this point in the dungeon that's behind the walls. Let's step on the star switch and move these holes around. So this should let us through, and it might let us into the next area here. And indeed it did. It moved the holes in the floor so that we can check out this room with the key we found under this pot. Boy, I am slipping up, getting hit left and right. Alright, so we've got a couple Helmosaurs, and I believe we're in a bit of a conundrum here, seeing as how we are blocked on this side of the Helmosaurs. So the problem is, we're stuck here, so we have to fall down, and we'll be transported back here to the entrance. I can't recall if there's something we can do in here. This might just be a room with enemies. Yeah, I think this room was fairly pointless, like half the other rooms in this dungeon. Okay, let's head through the door over here now. We'll have to clear out the Gyptos. We're at least at full health after picking up that fairy. I wish I'd caught it with a net though, so we could keep it in a bottle. It takes a little bit longer if you use the magic blast from the sword, but it's an extra way of not getting hit, so it comes in handy. Let's go ahead and pick up the items under these pots again. And you'll see that if you push the statue, you're going to run into a problem. You're going to block yourself on the wrong side of the statue. So it's actually possible to grab it with A and pull it backwards, leaving it on the switch to head through the door. That's something you haven't really done so far in the game. And the game just ambushed me there a little bit. It left a Wallmaster falling on me as I, oh no! Alright, we're gonna have to do that again because I made a mistake. So, let's try this one more time. We'll head back through, we'll grab the statue, pull it onto the switch, and all will be well. Learning firsthand that the hookshot does not work on Gyptos, but seeing as they are wrapped in cloth, one weapon that is especially effective against them is the Bombos medallion, which I'm really sick of dealing with these guys, seeing as I lost most of my health getting hit. So I will basically firebomb the room, and we'll make it back through pretty quickly. And I may just choose to do that for the rest of the dungeon, just because I am slipping up so bad. Okay, I need to pull this switch down so that I can get above it and pull it upwards. So now we've got it in place, and I'm going to pull it right up through this gap. Leave the switch right there on the statue. Or statue right there on the switch. And this time, I'll do the same thing. Just firebomb the room, and we'll see if this helps me clear it out a little bit better. Nice. Okay, you can see we've got a cracked wall that is hollow, so we are able to blow a hole in the wall. And in the treasure chest we found the big key, so we've got the, let's see, what have we got? We have all three. We have the map, the compass, and the big key. So, we have found everything that we are able to do with this part of the dungeon. Now we can head back to the area with the big chest. So we'll need to push the switch to get out of here. Watch out for the wall master there. And we can head back to the main entrance of the dungeon. Watch out for the Ropa. If you can, try to take him out, and they often drop hearts, so it can help you replenish your health there. Now, before, we were unable to head north from the room, I believe, where we found the map. But just like in the Light World, the Thieves' Hideout, there is a secret entrance right here in this bush. So just another similarity between Light and Dark Worlds. So we dropped down just a little bit above the room where we were, and you can see where we are here with these star switches that would have been problematic. So this enemy's kind of like a bubble, except it doesn't, it just follows items. So if you actually trap it where it can't move to another item, it'll just run in circles like that. So let's go ahead and bomb this wall right here where the crack is. That'll take us through here to another room that we can't actually do anything with because of the holes in the floor. So we need to run back and hit the star switch to move the holes in the floor. Now we can access this room. And also, you notice there's a gap here between the skulls. If you're careful and you don't pull this one first, you can use the hook shot to pull yourself over, grab some magic replenishment, and then if you pull this switch, the wall down below will explode, leaving you a clear path to reach the big chest. In the big chest is an item that will come very handy in this dungeon. It is the fire rod. This rod commands the red fire, but watch your magic meter. So now we have the fire rod and the ice rod, and I'm going to equip the fire rod. Technically with the Bombos medallion it kind of renders the fire rod useless. We don't really need it, but whatever, we'll just equip it because it is the actual treasure of the dungeon that we're in. So heading through the Skull Woods here, we need to make our way to the next part of the dungeon, and I mentioned that earlier. It's the boss's lair that is in the northwest corner of Skull Woods, like where the Master Sword is located. So Gibdos, very weak to fire. You can use the fire rod to hit them with a blast of fire in a direct path from wherever you launch it. So I'm going to take out these berry kind of carefully, hopefully drop a heart, but I'm not going to be that lucky. I mentioned this before, I kind of think this is a little bit harder boss and dungeon for the game, honestly. I got better with age whenever I fought the Helmasaur King, but I still find this boss a little bit difficult. Usually I don't need to replenish my health while I fight a boss, but this one can get me sometimes. So, instead of heading north through the ribcage tunnel, we're going to go through this one instead, and it leads us to this ominous looking skull. Skull centipede mouth thing. We've got some kind of alien looking thing here from the Alien movie. But the way to enter this is to use the fire rod on this little centipede thing. It'll burn up, open the skull mouth, and you can enter the rest of the dungeon here. Now from now on it's not exactly a maze, so it's a little bit easier. You have to watch for the fireball. And we've got a locked door here, so we're not going anywhere until we find the key to that. And the key is in the room below. Now, underneath this passageway, you can head up and through a little bit on each side, but there are walls that you can't see because of the passageway. So for example, we can't go through that side, we have to go through this side. But we can head through both of these. It's just a little bit of a maze. Careful not to take damage when you don't have to. And so on and so on. So we need to find that key, and I believe it's in that treasure chest just at the bottom of that room. And I'm sure we can't be so lucky as to just walk right through. I guess we can. I guess we can just come right along the top here and take out the enemies. Now, that spinning yellow circle there is something I don't believe we've encountered in the Dark World. It overrules the power of the Moon Pearl and renders Link helpless against the enemies. So you want to either draw it into something else or avoid it until it hits a wall, because it'll dissipate once it hits the wall. So I'm going to take out these Gyptos, and it actually works to fight the transforming thing as well. So we grab the key, we've got this room clear now, so we just have to watch for the spikes. We'll make it through, and now we have to make it back through the maze, avoiding the red and blue enemy as best as we can. And we want to try to avoid the fireball. So now we can head through the locked door. Now this room's a little bit difficult because of all the star switches. The bottom two, I believe, are the same, and I walked right into his hand. That was kind of dumb. So, we'll try this again. We need to avoid the fireball, but the door's already unlocked. We already did that, so not that big of a deal. The bottom two should take us through that one, and we want to go kind of counterclockwise through this room, I believe. And that should lead us through to the door. And if we want to be thorough, we can grab that, but we just kind of have to make our way through again. We didn't need the magic, but just to know what's under the pot. Okay, so this room has a bunch of Gyptos in it, and I'm going to go ahead and just take them all out. Bombos is extremely helpful in this dungeon. It doesn't light torches, though, so you will still need the fire rod, and I'm going to go ahead and use it now. And I believe you have to do that on a timer. You need to light all the torches quickly before they burn out. And I believe that sound was showing me that the timer had run out. So I did it fairly quickly. So fight off the mini Moldorms. You saw how I used the block to block myself from that transforming thing. Now this room, nothing will happen in, I believe. I think you have to actually use your sword and cut this wall right here. You can kind of see that there is a wall, or a doorway right behind it. If you look between these two vines, there it is. There's no point to cut the rest of the vines, but what the hell. Okay, so you've got a mini Helmasaur here, or just a Helmasaur, and Hardhat Beetle, mini Moldorm, Gyptos. So I'm going to use the fire rod on the Gyptos, just because it is the biggest threat. It contains the key to make it out of this room, so I'm going to take out the mini Moldorm. I am now maxed on rupees, 999. That's the first time this has happened so far. But I shouldn't have a major expenditure until much later in the game. Okay, so this room right here, if you're careful to avoid the hand, you're going to want to drop down that hole. There's nowhere else we can go, we just have to drop down the hole. And we encounter the boss. boss is Mothula. Very weak to fire. Take it out as quick as you can. I don't believe bombos will help you here. Alright, I am out of magic, so the rest of this is gonna have to be a sword, or I need to replenish my magic, and that did it. I used the fire rod fast enough, hit it with enough times with the fire rod that I could take it out quickly with the sword, and I didn't need to replenish my health or my magic. So we'll grab a heart container and find the third crystal. So she thanks us for saving her, and gives us a little more insight into the history and the prophecy of the Great Cataclysm. And we are told that if we fail, evil will fall over the land and no one will be able to defeat Ganon. So no pressure or anything. Alright, thanks for watching part 10 of my Let's Play. On our next Let's Play, we will probably be entering the Thieves' Hideout in the Village of Outcasts. If you recall, someone mentioned hearing a girl's voice crying out from the depths of the Thieves' Hideout, so we will check that out on the next episode. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.